I'm not being sexist by stating a fact. Men have no rights. Special interest groups and special rights groups and groups of people who have been our predators all get special rights. Women like Nicole Gerald, who thought it was okay to try to she'd already discussed with me that she wanted to shove a carrot up a man's backside. And she tried to convince me on more than one occasion that this is what she wanted. And there's lots of people that she tried this with. This woman is a therapist. She went to school at Naropa. That's where Zayde Atkinson went to school. The little box of men theory. There's a lot of people who have brought this theory forward, and it's not called that. It's about 4 or 5 different theories along the same lines. But the point is, what we have trained people to do, we have preconditioned all of our country to believe, or at least to pretend to believe, in a very biased way. Most Americans will automatically jump to the conclusion that a male is the bad guy. The male is the stalker, despite the fact that statistics show otherwise. Now, police records and police arrests show bias. They don't show the law, they specifically show bias. Because the independent studies versus what the police show, the police arrest record literally verifies the independent studies. Because these independent studies are about people, about how we work, about how our brains work, about how we interact. That's why I know my shit. I love reading, folks. I love reading. Now, the little box of men theory, this comes from the idea that women have been preconditioned to believe that they are owed. They are owed for things that did not happen to them. They are owed for things that happened to other people in the past. This is a very tough problem for a young country. You go over to Great Britain, they have had slavery that's illegal there since 1066. They still have slavery. It's just illegal. Kind of like here, except it's actually not illegal. See, police officers are people too. They will show bias same as you. When they screw up, they want to cut it up. They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want people to judge them. You don't want people to do to you what you do to them. They make one mistake, say one thing wrong, one time, and you never let them hear the end of it. But you want them to let everything go. Now, I've got the paperwork. The very first thing that it says on all these things, friends or family. The evidence shows that I went to my friends and I went to my family and they did not care. Every single one of them blew me off. Every single one of them were dismissive of myself, of the situation, and of the abuse. Every single one of them making some excuse why they can't speak up. Yeah, they know I'm telling the truth. That part they're not debating. Not until after they're angry, because I showed on the internet, hey, this is what it feels like, folks, except worse. Worse. You have any idea the things that I was forced to do to try to save lives because you didn't care? Do you stop to consider the fact that you had spoken up? If you had actually cared and spoken up, you could have saved the life of people like Tibor Hatay. You could have saved the life of Elijah McClain. You could have prevented Sammy Leon Lawrence IV and Zaid Atkinson, two minorities, from being assaulted by Waylon Lolatai. You could have prevented the assaults against Michelle Rodriguez and Kelly Clark, also assaulted by Waylon Lolatai. All by stopping and actually caring about another person. Actually caring, not being just pretty words. I came to you for help because I'm being abused. I didn't come to you for shitty advice. I didn't come to you for you to pretend to care about me and show me that you don't. Say one thing and do another. Do as I say, not as I do. It's okay for me, but it's wrong for you. Blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. It's the other way around. It's not wrong for people to abuse me. It's only wrong for me to speak out about it. I didn't neglect our friendship. These people did. Like I said, when I hurt my back, I no longer mattered. Nobody cared anymore. When I wasn't able to help them move out of their next crappy relationship, when I wasn't able to do those things anymore, or when these people had showed me time and again that it is one-sided, they don't care what happens to me. The most trivial things are more important than me. Miss Peaches, that's Kayla Trujillo. She wanted to throw a big old tantrum over a pipe that she had had since before her son was born. I didn't break it on purpose. She thought I should smoke pot and that would make it better. That would make everything better. The more she interrupted me, the faster I had to speak and try to get something in, try to get a sentence in before she interrupted me again. So she thought that I needed to smoke pot and shut up. I've been going to Miss Peaches for over a year by the time that happened. Natalie was dead by the time Miss Peaches' pipe broke, and she cared so much about that pipe. I understand why these people want to push drugs and alcohol on me. I understand why Miss Peaches wanted to push pot on me. I understand why Lan Engeline wanted to push pot on me. I understand wholeheartedly and fully why it is they just kept on pushing pot. Hey, Sean, smoke some pot, you'll feel better, smoke some pot. It's because they wanted to be the ones who were heard. They thought if they tell me what to do, that fixes it. No, it doesn't. All these people blew me off until it was too late. Did not take it seriously. Did not care to even look. And people offer to help me, and then they ignore me for months at a time, and I literally have to make a public post on their timeline. Hey! Are you really my friend? Do you really care? Or are you just gonna try to make me feel bad for going to you for help? Are you gonna tell me about all of your problems, and then I know about all of your problems, and you expect me to feel bad and feel sorry for you? Okay, your grandma died. My best friend got shot in the head. Okay, your grandma died 6 years ago. I have to look over my shoulder for creepy people no matter where I go. I am victimized no matter where I go. All over a situation that you still don't care about. And obviously a person, me, who you do not care about. When Brandon Ratner's brother, Sean Ratner, disappeared, how long did it take for me to try to help find him? Made my first post within 5 minutes. And I kept it up until he was found. I did something immediately. What did I do when Natalie Bollinger disappeared? I made a video immediately, not 6 weeks later. And yeah, she'd done some horrible things. I had been stalked, harassed, assaulted, had my life threatened, and my loved ones' lives threatened for over a year before Natalie Bollinger was killed. And none of you cared. Still, none of you care. You have cop-outs. You've got excuses. They found Natalie's killer. I'm not retarded, you fucking idiots. Now, primarily, these are women. And here's the men in a box theory. Women in the United States have been taught how to manipulate. They've been taught different rules. They've been taught that they get to hit us once for free. There are some women who will take that free punch once an hour. They'll punch a guy once an hour because they get one for free, they think. Oh, well, it starts over every hour. How about stop hitting people? How about stop hitting people? So the theory here is, with what we have observed and with what statistics have shown us, women don't typically leave a relationship until they have another one already lined up. They're already engaged in another relationship. I don't mean engaged to be married, not necessarily anyway, but they're already in another relationship before they leave you. A man typically leaves a relationship and he's done for a while. This is because we have taught women in the United States that it is okay to live off of men, to mooch off of men, to expect men to do things, to do everything for them. And then people pretend like if you say that, it means that you're sexist. No. Statistics, they have shown, especially since we've got TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all this other stuff, we have women who brag about doing these things. Brag about doing them on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. manipulating the situation and the, oh, poor me, I'm a girl, oh, poor me, I'm a girl. And we get to see, this is the box theory. We have pre-programmed men to be a certain way towards women. They're supposed to be the guardians. Women are supposed to talk about how they did it all themselves and how they're an independent woman while being entirely dependent upon people that they can mooch off of. And not all women are like that, thank goodness. Thank goodness this isn't a natural thing, and if it is a natural thing, it is a natural thing both men and women experience, except for the teachings that we have here. The idea that a woman cannot be a predator despite all of the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The idea is that a lot of women have male friends just because it's free help. It's something that they have been taught, a special perk that girls get because they're girls. They get this free perk of men owe them because they're a woman. And we are told and taught our entire lives how we owe women. We owe them, we owe them, we owe them, we owe them. And we're taught that nobody owes us nothing. Nobody owes us nothing. Nobody owes us nothing. When a woman is abused, we're expected to hop too. We're expected to do something about it, and we're expected to do something immediately. And women, they may pretend like you or care about you, but in reality, if you look at the situation, you have to fish through them, same as your male friends. Which ones actually care when something happens to me? How many of them try to do what it says to do on the paperwork? It says to go in immediately. Go in with them, like I said from the beginning. Abuse and neglect. It's neglect, folks. Do you really treat the people that you care about that way? If they're your friends, why do you care about them? Do they matter to you because you can get something out of them later on? You lead them on to believe that you're friends, that you would help them out, but no matter what, it's always, oh, well, if I follow the law, I'll lose my job. If you don't follow the law, you go to prison. Maybe you should try thinking this through before committing to action. Now, the men in a box theory is the belief, based on a lot of evidence too, that we have taught women that men are expendable, that men are worth absolutely nothing except whatever you can mooch or manipulate out of them. If one of them doesn't do what you want, you can manipulate other ones into doing what you want. Some of them you string along, and you string them along just enough to keep them in your life, right at the fringes. The ones that they're just your friends, you'll keep at the fringes. Whatever happens to them, you'll still pretend to care 6 years down the road, but then you'll complain you're traumatized by your grandma died 6 years ago. So I'm busy hearing your excuses before you've had any time to even try listening to what's going on. And many other men have observed this too. Like, why am I trying? Why am I making this effort? And we've got to see time and again where men like Tom have helped out predators like Molly. She was predatory towards him and me and many others in this town. But who is still paying the consequences for that? Me. The men in a box theory. You know, you've also got the set of men that Yeah, you have to kind of pretend that you like. That's enough to keep them around. Sure, they'll get agitated once in a while, but you don't really have to give it up or anything. You just let them know you have to think about it. You have to think about it. You have to think about it. Keep them on the fringes. And then there's the guys that, they're going to require some actual physical attention in order to get that help. So if you get kicked out of your ex's house because you were all strung out on drugs, well, now you can manipulate another man and move into his ready-made environment. Homewreckers, this is a popular one too, isn't it? Where, us girls got to stick together. Us girls got to stick together. But, I just got out of a crappy relationship. But I'm young and pretty still, and I take on a lot of makeup. And that dude's wife is old. Yeah, sure, he's old, but he's got a house. He's got more than one car. He's got everything that I need. I could move into that. And we all know women who have been like that, but we turn a blind eye when it's a woman doing it. Why? That's number one, against the law, and number two, it's sexist. Same as we do it when a woman gets to pretend like a man might do something wrong. So then, of course, the us girls got to stick together thing, huh? And all of them work together, and they work together with their boyfriends and their husbands, and they make your life a living hell. Because we don't keep 400 women friends in a box that we pretend that we care about for later on. Most of us actually genuinely care about you. We also get sick of taking the abuse when you go back to another beating. When you go to the men who have expectations. We know you're supposed to pretend that you don't have a sex drive and you don't get horny. But then we go to the parties. We see how you hook up with people. You get drunk. You get horny. Now you've got a boyfriend. You've got the one guy in the room who's actually willing to take advantage of a woman when she's drunk, knowing that in the morning she might call it rape. But she was really horny. So now she's with the one guy who has no morality that was there. Or, you know how it really is. Most of those guys ain't got no morality. They've been taught one thing and shown another. It's never okay to hit a woman, they're told. And then dad beats the hell out of their mom. Be accountable to your words. I am accountable to mine. I am held accountable because of the term mentally ill. I'm held accountable for the sins, choices, and decisions of others. I am abused for the crimes of others. And all of you make every excuse to look the other way because I don't matter. The box theory. The theory that no matter which guy it is, women have been taught that men are suckers. You leave a man on the fringes, and when you really need something, pretend to like him. Pretend he's actually a friend. Tell him about your problems. Really, you're hoping he'll volunteer to help, and he probably will. And of course, depending upon what you want at that particular time, that's which guy you'll pull out of the box. You move out of your hometown because you got a bunch of people that you let on there. Say you're from Florida. You moved to Seattle, Washington. Well, let's say You screwed a guy over in Seattle, Washington real bad, and you want to play victim. He's trying to take you to court. You've done some horrible things to him, not just to him, but also to his reputation. So you're going to play victim. You're going to play, oh, poor me, oh, poor me. And you're going to go over and get all of these local guys, because that's the help that you need locally. If you pretend that he might hurt you, then you can get all of these suckers to come do what you want, up to and including literally murdering the guy. And you think you should get away with it. You don't think you did anything wrong. Oh, I didn't kill him. Oh my God, I didn't know those guys were going to do that. Really? You knew exactly what you were doing. Going out of your way to be as hurtful as possible, to destroy somebody's life because you screwed up. And then, of course, you still got those folks from your hometown in Florida, right? You can call on them at any point. You probably won't need them because you got 20 more guys lining up around. You cake on that makeup so that you can get more soldiers to put in your box. I think it was also called the tin soldier theory, but I'm not for certain about that. Also the nutcracker theory. We are all taught a certain way. That bias, these preconditioned notions, that men are stronger than women. Mm-mm. Sure, most guys are probably stronger than Rand Ingersoll, but she drunk most of her muscles away. There wasn't much left over. Most guys would get beaten up by Desiree Leonard. Now, this theory that women get help immediately so often that they come to expect it, and you're a bad person if you don't help them immediately. If a man needs help immediately, and of course, the laws, and of course, the paperwork that you get for it says immediately. If it's a man, you're going to blow him off. You're going to make every excuse. You're going to make every excuse to look the other way because we are pre-taught on all of these things that it is a man's fault. Must be a man's fault. We have also seen time and again where if you don't go along with a popular narrative, regardless of its racism, like the BLM narratives or the Me Too narratives, they're wrong. Statistics show that the crap that they're selling about sugar and spice and everything nice is wrong. So the theory that most of the women in America, since we do teach this bias, we are raised with this bias that it's okay for a girl to hit a boy once for free. It's never okay to hit a girl. We've also taught girls because of this that they can get away with doing those illegal and immoral things. That they can slander a man's name when they do something wrong and he will be the one punished. That all she has to do after she has done something illegal or immoral is play victim. Play victim. And we have taught women to do this. When people are not being heard and they are victimized, they do desperate things, including literally mutilating their own bodies to try to get help stopping the abuse. And even that is not enough. You use that as an excuse to never listen to them again. You use that as their excuse to never do anything to begin with. You push them to suicide. You push them to cut themselves. What's the difference here? Who are the boys who are committing suicide? These are your tin soldiers that you will literally ignore for 6 years. Because you might possibly need them someday when you've burned all your other bridges, when all of the other boys have realized they're getting played and have already left and are done with you. So then when one of these tin soldiers says, "I'm leaving," I'm not your friend anymore. This is obviously a one-sided friendship. Obviously, I don't matter. And then you want to pretend to be my friend again for a few moments of treating me like crap, looking for excuses, and trying to send me on to someone else. Yeah, you really care, don't you? You have no idea how many thousands of hours I have sat and listened to women bitch about their problems. Because they wanted help. I didn't need their sob story. Them saying, "I'm in an unsafe position. I need your help moving." Okay, I'll do what I can. My little sister is missing. I could use some help finding her. Okay, I'll do what I can. Not in 6 years. After 6 years, and then they want to pull this crap. No, it's not okay. It's not morally okay. And the fact that they think it's okay to play victim because they got busted showing that they're not a friend, that you don't mean anything to them, that they are just words. On the bright side, they've got no problems throwing you away. They got 20 more lined up. You don't matter. You're expendable. She throws you away, says you're the bad guy, and she did everything herself. If you try to take legal action because her and her friends are stalking you and harassing you and threatening you, you need somebody there in your corner who actually cares, but nobody cares because you got a dick. You just need to let it go. You just need to let it go. That's what you tell victims. You don't stop to consider that they still have to go through it. You say, "Oh, you chose it." What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Pretending like I asked people to stalk me. When people threatened to do it, I said, "Do it. Stop threatening me and do it. Get it over with. If that's what it's going to take for you to leave me and my loved ones alone, stop threatening to come stomp my face in and actually come and do it. Just stop harassing me." Don't threaten to kill my friends. Don't threaten to kill my family. And I get that they don't care. No big thing to them. But we got the good men who sit in a box, and then we've got the men who are for fun. The guys who will get you drunk for free at the bar. The guys who give you free heroin. The ones who will give you free cocaine. The ones who will give you stuff for free. The ones you can go out and party and have fun with. How's that song go? Cyndi Lauper? Girls just wanna have fun. Yeah, I get it. You dress for attention. You paint that makeup for attention. You say it's just for you. No, it's not. If it was just for you, it'd be at home in the mirror and that's where it would stay. No, it's a matter of competition. Meanwhile, we're supposed to listen to people who are in a constant competition tell us about how it's not a competition, about how we shouldn't be competing. We listen to women making constant comparisons between them and rich people, or them and people who work harder or more hours than them. You complain that men get paid on average $49,000 a year and women only get paid on average $44,000 a year. You don't pay any attention to how many hours overtime on average women work compared to men. How many more hours do men work in overtime? A lot. Why is there a difference there? Because there are a lot of women who prey on the fact that they're a woman, and society expects us to take care of women. Expects us to bow down to their every will and command right when they want it. It was primarily women who offered to help how I needed. Primarily. But they never kept their word. Just kept stringing me on that they were going to, eventually. And eventually turned into a maybe. Which turned into a, well, why don't you just let it go? You know exactly what you're doing. You're procrastinating. You're wasting time. But you're not helping anyone. When you need help, you expect me to listen to your sob story. When you finally pretend like you're going to listen to me, and I call it, it's again me listening to your sob stories. It's good to hear your voice finally, but my God. You know what? The fact that you called me made me feel so much better just because you called. For bullshit. You never hear what's going on because you're constantly talking. You don't know how horrible the things that I'm going through are, because when you call to actually find out what's going on and help, you are busy telling me about things that are trivial in comparison. That doesn't mean that those things didn't happen. Let me tell you about Ventus Kasai. Now, in comparison with somebody touching his butt at a New Year's Eve party where Ventus was obviously screwed up on multiple substances, first of all, it's not okay to molest him when he's messed up either. It's just as wrong to do it to a man. Second of all, yeah, he was groped. The conversation with him and Beatrice is on my channel. She wants to pretend like he should have no reaction to that whatsoever. He should be fine with it because women have to go through worse. Well, I'm going through worse. I am going through far worse. I'm not a woman. Why did Beatrice have to be sexist like that? Now with me, everything that I'm going through, yes, it's 1,000 times worse than that trivial crap by comparison. That's not saying it's okay. To this day, I still speak out about how wrong that is. But look at how traumatized he was. While being traumatized made it so that he didn't have to do anything. Well, it made him the center of attention for something that is very small. Very small by comparison. He was only traumatized by that until Stephanie Mejia, who had been paid all of my money to come and help me, showed up. Instead of helping me or paying any attention to what was going on, both of them got bored or wanted to be busy talking over me. They spent most of their time there doing drugs, getting drunk, and fucking. Yeah, but it's fine because you don't care. I'm one of the 10 soldiers that you're going to pretend that you care about. And yeah, sure, it sucks to lose one, doesn't it? So when one of them says, hey, you're not being a friend, you give them the bullshit treatment, pretend to be a friend for about 30 seconds, and then start playing victim and telling them they're inappropriate. When you come to them about your problems, you expect them to do something immediately. When they come to you about their problems, you let them know in no uncertain terms that they mean absolutely nothing to you. No matter what is done to them, you will let it happen because you might make a mistake in the future and need their help. You keep honest, decent, and forthright individuals in your little box of 10 soldiers. And then you keep the sinners for yourselves. The violent ones. And then it's men's fault. Men's fault. Men's fault. Men. What about that box of 10 soldiers that ain't worth a fuck? That's your ready-made box of heroes. You've always got someone to go to. You've got a myriad of men to go to if you want someone to be victimized. All you got to tell is one of those 3 lies. All you got to do is play victim, and you know you've got an easy out. You know you automatically win. You know it doesn't matter what the law says. What matters is who's better at manipulating people. And you would think that would be on personal merit, wouldn't you? You would think you wouldn't have to manipulate people into being honest or telling the truth. But that's the reality, isn't it? If you're someone who doesn't matter, if you're a homeless person, yeah, you might still have a use, but not really. When it comes to most of the help that many of these women need, you're not going to get that out of a homeless person. When you get horny, yeah, there's lots of women who go slumming. But we have taught women to be dependent upon others. While saying one thing and doing another, we have taught our children to say one thing and do another. We've taught our children that men don't matter. Well, I have women who tell me that it's okay for me to have emotions. Then they make fun of me and tease me and pick on me, or have their friends come and harm me over emotions I don't have. I speak openly about being raped. Why? Because I don't get embarrassed. You cannot shame me into shutting up. You cannot scare me into shutting up. And for most of you, the only thing that kept me from speaking up about you right from the beginning is that you made empty promises. You pretended like you were gonna. but your actions show that you were only pretending. If you want to know how to help somebody, you already know how. You already have your box of tin soldiers. What help would your box of tin soldiers provide? If you said somebody raped you, what would your box of tin soldiers do? Well, some of them would go after that person, threaten to kill them and their families, assault them, pop their tires, break their windows, make their life a living hell. The other ones are going to try to get you to turn it in. Now, here's why it is that females are the primary perpetrators here. The primary reason that both male and female predators are not heard. Sorry, male and female victims are not heard. Because there are so many female predators who cry wolf. And you can see that it's looks and money. Yes, gender is an important part. And yes, skin color as well. It's been said many times in many ways, not just in the Christmas season, that the courts and the cops only care about what pretty white girls care about. If pretty white girls don't care, nobody's going to make a big stink. If pretty white girls care about black rights, that's when we get change. If pretty white girls care about immigrants' rights, that's when we get change. But how impossible is it to get somebody who has a box of ready-made servants who they don't even have to pay? You just got to lead them on a little bit. Some of them you lead them on to believe you're friends. Some of them you lead on to believe that you care about them. Some of them you lead on to believe that you kind of find them attractive and are kind of testing the waters a little bit. Some of them you lead on to believe that, well, it don't matter what you lead them on to believe. It's all wrong. It's all playing. And then when you do something wrong, when you do something that a friend would not do, I want you to take a look at your box of 10 men. I want you to look at all of the men in that 10 box. And I want to ask you, with each and every one of those men, if they had come to you for the help that you have gone to them for, would you have helped them? Would you have helped them the way that they helped you? Would you have helped them the way that they asked? Or would you tell them how hard things are for a woman? How there are women who are raped every day. Oh, we know this. That doesn't make it okay to turn a blind eye to a man being raped. You say it's wrong for a man to hit a woman and he should go to prison for the rest of his life, or worse. But you teach girls that they get a free shot. Girls get to punch a man once for free. A woman should be allowed to beat on a man. You know, eventually, even men get sick and tired of being preyed upon, being used and abused, while being told everything is their fault and they wanted it, needed it, chose it, and deserved it. You get to see how my predators and my friends who claimed to care about me, all of them helped to perpetrate this by obviously not caring about the truth, not caring to hear both sides before making a decision. I don't have a box of tin soldier women that I lead on that I'll touch their naughty if they do what I want. I let them all know they don't get my naughties. You have taught me that sex is a shameful thing. I've been trained to believe that I am nasty, and no woman would want to touch my penis anyway. And guess what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The women in that box of my 10 helpers aren't helpers. They're primarily women who came to me for help over and over and over again when nobody else would. When everybody else blew them off or made excuses. When everybody else in their life went, hey, you know what? I've helped you repeatedly. You're still strung out on drugs. And then you tell me, hey, Sean, you need to have a heart. Those are people too. I know they're people too. I'm the one taking care of the loved ones you threw away. I'm the one trying to keep them safe. You threw them away. You didn't want them. And then when you do bad things to me, then you pretend to love them again. Miss Jerry, after all that crap with Michael Vernon, all of a sudden, they're going to use Jenny and Tyler to try to get Mike to love them again after the things that they did. Miss Jerry especially. Miss Jerry is no longer my friend. It was a one-sided friendship. When I was there, she could have spent time actually helping me one-on-one. Going and getting some dick and mooching off of a dude was what was important to her most of the time that I was up there. When she came over to Landis, she was there for 3 days to help me. Was supposed to be there to help me. Instead, her and Lana Engeline just hung out for 3 days. I couldn't go out and say nothing. If I said something, I'd get snapped at by Lana. Like I said, it's not okay to reject a woman. You can't tell a woman no in the United States. We get this no means no mantra thrown in our face and shoved down our throats. But then I got Nicole Jarrell. She's already been told no. Not even a baby carrot? No, not even a baby carrot. You're not going to shove anything up my ass, Nicole Jarrell. No. What did she do? She's got horses. All right. So she's got carrots. And these are not baby carrots. These aren't even the size carrots that you get at the grocery store. She stabbed me literally through my jeans with carrot flippin'zilla. While I was washing my hands to cook dinner after being told no repeatedly. How about when there was that young woman who was her first day homeless and she wanted to sleep by me, but not in my squat? Well, I'm fine with that. She tells me she's not interested in nothing sexual. Good! Perfect! Perfect! I try to believe her words, and what happens? I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with some creature running around in my trousers, and I twist to get away with it as quickly as possible. Was it a raccoon? Was it a squirrel? No, it was her hand trying to massage my cock while I was passed out. You know what happened to that poor girl? I didn't realize it was a human wrist that was stuck in my belt line. I twisted to get away from whatever it was, and it broke her wrist. You think I felt good about that? Here I am. I've just been sexually molested, and I'm feeling bad for my abuser because she was dumb. Would you want me doing that to you in your sleep? Let's look at Lanny Engeline. I was trying to tell her what was going on, and she was sweet for a couple of days when I got there. But that night, when I wouldn't have sex with her, here's what she did. I was crying about the situation, and she grabbed my hand and she put it on her boob, and I pulled it away, and that was the end of any sort of non-hostile anything with Lana while I was there. Amanda Engeline is the one who did all of the actual helping of anything there. But here's the thing, no matter what she did up there, they didn't follow through. Doing the paperwork but never sending it in? Why didn't we do that together? And why didn't you speak up about it afterwards? Oh yeah, you did. Well, over a year after, you wanted to throw it in my face. Meanwhile, no follow-through. It's kind of like you gotta disassemble your engine and change the rings. So you disassemble the engine, you change the rings, and then you never put it back together. You're the mechanic here. You're the one that wanted to take the initiative to tear apart the car without consulting the owner and without the owner there. No, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what's going on at that point. I don't know what you've been doing without me. You're telling me you did something without me. Well, why don't we do this together? When I'm asking about problems that I have with the computer, and Lana and Amanda are saying they don't know how to do it, and then I go in and I get on the computer, on their crappy internet, and I try to figure out how to do it myself. Then I get told that I'm not trying. Meanwhile, Lana and Amanda Engeline, pretty much the entirety of our friendship, it was me helping them. Pretty much the entirety of our friendship, it was me helping Jerry, me helping Jerry's kids. When people needed help, they came to me for help over and over again. And when getting some dick or doing some drugs was more important than me, then all of a sudden I'm a bad guy. All of a sudden it's time to slander my name. Every woman in America is taught to do this. It's not something that is ingrained in women at birth. It's not something that they're born with. They are taught how to manipulate these bias, how to manipulate these wives' tales, and even with our statistics, coming from the predators themselves who are female, you still look away. And then there's guys that you keep around because you know that if something happens, they'll do something. You know that guy who takes out the garbage every night at Cheesecake Factory, he works 2 doors down from where you work. He gets off of work about the same time you get off of work. It's late at night, you go through the same alley, through the same parking garage. You're friendly with him. You already know that if somebody tries to attack you on the way to your vehicle, there's a good possibility he is not far behind you, or he's only a few steps ahead of you. They'll help. for a man who's going to help. When a man tells a woman no, what's to stop her from calling him a pedophile or pretending he tried to rape her and destroying his entire life? Now, for me, I'm lucky. Because, see, Maddie Boa didn't go running around trying to pretend I raped Maddie Boa. She didn't go running around pretending to everybody that I tried to molest Maddie Boa when she was underage. No, she tried pretending I did those things to Natalie and Alicia, but Natalie and Alicia never, ever, ever, through any of their words or any of this, I'm not seeing not even one claim from either one of those two that I ever did any such thing to either one. The abuse that I went through for a whole year before Natalie was killed wasn't over her being killed, obviously. Because I was one of her tin box soldiers, and I was expendable just like the rest of you. Wake up. Stop being pressured into fighting for your predators' rights. Men need to start fighting for men's rights. Stop helping predatory women get away with this. Stop doing their bidding. Stop being a sucker. Stop killing your fellow man without an honest chance at justice, without an honest chance to face his accusers, to show evidence, to be allowed to go to his own court dates. Something with boobs or something with a badge says it's true, it must be. That is so incredibly sexist and stupid. It's not ignorant. You guys know different. You know otherwise. That is the worst thing about most of these people who are playing victim now. All of them have already shown that they are well aware and that they just don't care. I suppose that could be a bit of a crap rap, huh? Maybe if I rhyme, you'll listen. Listen to Eminem whine about his trivial mama issues. But he rhymes, so it's okay. You get to see in the media, social media and otherwise, we got a lot of male heartthrobs. Magically, the opinions of millions of women in America will change in an instant. If the male is Johnny Depp, holy shit. Millions of women nationwide will promote rape. If the guy looks like Jason Meeks, the majority of people that I unfriended before Natalie was killed were women who were perpetuating rape culture and rape society in America. I am not pro-rapist, I am anti-rapist. Now here's the thing about Ventus Kasai. Between when I showed up and when Stephanie Mejia showed up for the second time there, Ventus was completely distraught by having his butt touched. And he was angry at Beatrice for blowing him off when he was so incredibly traumatized by having his butt touched. But the moment there was a woman in the house that he could feed drugs and fuck, his trauma went away immediately. And then he just told Stephanie Mejia the whole time that all men are out to manipulate her and he's the only one who won't. And all men are only out for her one thing and he's the only guy who's not, while he's fucking her, knowing that she's married. She took my money, but didn't provide the services. She was too busy servicing someone else. Going on vacation from family life. Going on vacation from being a mother. Going on vacation from being a wife. Going on vacation with a guy that she cheats on with her husband with. And then she's screwing around with another guy when she brings that dude she cheats on her husband with to come down and help me. She didn't want to do the ride alone. She didn't want to do that alone. You know, I didn't want to drive to Virginia alone. I am scared shitless of driving. There's a reason that me and Maddie Boa planned the trip. There's a reason that we did that. It wasn't just me and Maddie Boa, it was also Natalie and Alicia. And when it turned out that Maddie Boa couldn't go, that didn't make any difference to Natalie, that I would have to drive all the way there by myself. For Stephanie Mejia, it was so easy to manipulate the men in her life, including the one that she was supposedly coming to help. Instead, she got a paid vacation, free drugs, and some free dick. She got to cheat on her husband and avoid her kids. On the bright side, two guys there that was cheating with her. Mr. Santana. And no, not the famous guitar player, although the guy does play guitar. He's the one that took all them pictures. Because all of my stuff was too full to do it. I needed somebody's help doing that, and thank goodness he was able to do that. Between him and Megan Misigatis, that was supposed to be turned in. No, Megan Misigatis did everything she could to make sure that was destroyed. Because she didn't want to admit that she screwed up. Unfortunately, she screwed up bad enough that she committed felonies. A lot of them. I don't want to be bound to this crap. I don't want to have a conscience and be told by other people who have a completely different set of moral standards and feel that it's okay and proper to be that way because they are somehow owed by things that others did to them. No. No, this isn't okay. This abuse has gone on for 6 years specifically because my friends didn't care. They wanted to literally do the things that push a person to commit suicide. Because they're not friends. They know exactly what they're doing. Caitlin Tatum knows exactly what she's doing. Danny knew exactly what she was doing. Kayla Trujillo knew exactly what she was doing. Sure, you'll pretend that you're going to help if you want something that I have. Or if you think there might be a future in which you may need me. But then again, you got to look at the risk factor there. There comes a point when a man realizes you're bullshitting, and what do you do then? Play victim. Immediately. That is the first thing you are taught to do. You screwed up, play victim. Man's fault, man's fault. You're just being sexist because I have a vagina, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm weak, poor me, pity me. I can't do anything for myself, I'm helpless. While throwing up after that, I'm strong and independent and I did it all myself. I don't need a man. One of these women who offered to help me, she broke up with her boyfriend because he was done with her bullshit and drama. So she was telling everybody that he was a homosexual who likes little boys and a bunch of other stuff like that. Then she wanted to get on and whine that she needed him back. She needed him. She needed him. I was like, you know what? You got on here and claimed he was a pedophile who likes little boys. And now you're out on your ass on the street and you want him to take you back. You are out your damn mind. No, that guy didn't take her back. Matter of fact, he got a hold of me and said, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, I'm not sexist. When a male is being victimized, I speak up then too. When Ryan Wilkins disappeared, it's Mandy Singer's son. Yeah, he's a male. I still tried to help find him. And I didn't use Natalie's death as an excuse not to try. First time I saw Ogre, I asked him about it. Goddamn right. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Conceptually, you like men. Apparently. But we can't just blame all women. Not all women will take that social programming. But they all know that it's an option. Every woman in America knows that if she does something wrong, then she's got the 3 lies she can fall back on as an option. To keep herself out of trouble, to keep herself out of prison, to hide her crimes, her wrongdoings, her negligence, her child abuse, her alcoholism, or the fact that she got innocent people killed. It's a man's fault. It's a man's fault. We've preconditioned and taught women to blame everything on men. We've taught men that everything is their fault. And we have taught the worst men that they're the ones that you're going to breed with. The ones who are willing to take advantage of you while you're drunk. Then again, why do men go and get drunk? So they got liquid courage, so they can actually have the balls to talk to somebody they want to have sex with and maybe try to get laid. And how many women have done exactly the same thing? And if you wake up in the morning and he's ugly, he's a rapist. If you wake up in the morning and he's still good looking, you got a new boyfriend. If you wake up in the morning after being rejected, you destroy the man's life because of your insecurities. Because he's calling you ugly. He must be, because he didn't want to have sex with you while you were drunk. There is no way to win if you have a penis unless you're good looking and an asshole. Money helps. Donald Trump ain't good looking. He's an asshole, but he's got money. What do rich people spend their money on? Pretty things and more money. What do poor people spend their money on? Survival. And ain't none of you stuck in this. None of you. An at-risk adult is no longer an at-risk adult if they're a male. That's what you're saying loud and clear. A victim is no longer a victim if they're a male. You're stating that loud and clear. You say, I can't just do this and I can't just do that. I can't just drop everything every time you want something. You haven't dropped anything in 7 years to speak up. Jamie Curtis could have spoken up. She could have been honest. She had plenty of time to do that in. But then when I record the conversation and post it up on the internet, it's, take it down now! She was angry because I told the truth. Then she called me over 80 times in one day. After doing such horrible things to me, she called me 80 times, over 80 times in one day. She's not the only one who did that. There's also Katie Cahill. How long did it take her to speak up? She never did. She wanted me to take it down now. No. You don't get to blackmail me into destroying evidence. That's not intelligent. You said the things, own up to them. You can say them to me, you can say them to the cops. If you can say them to me, you can say them in court. If you promise me you're going to do something, and I'm getting treated like I'm schizophrenic because, number one, you didn't keep your word. You're taking your dear sweet time and not keeping your word. Then, when I show the truth, when you have had ample time and opportunity to come forward on your own, but you're forcing me to spend hundreds of hours to go through this stuff and make sure that it's posted up for people to see because you can't take the time to simply tell the truth. And then you want me to take it down now. You want me to destroy evidence for you right now and then you'll help me? No, you won't. No, you won't. If you were going to help, you would have helped instead of lying to me. Instead of bullshitting me and leading me on that you were gonna. Katie Cahill is another one of those that could have and should have spoken out about Kara Johnson Miles. Now, the recordings with her talking about the situation with Kara Johnson Miles are on my YouTube channel. The literal conversations with Katie Cahill. Her own voice in the recordings. Her words showed I told the truth. Men, you need to fight for your own rights, and you need to stop fighting for the rights of others who aren't going to lift a finger about yours. We have taught women to have zero respect for any man unless they want his penis in this country or his money. Respect is not earned in this country, it is bought with looks or cash. Take a look at your friendship. How many times have you helped her move? How many times has she helped you move? How many times have you offered to go into court so that her predator doesn't get away with it again? And how many times has she said no, she doesn't want to do that? How many times has she let this predator get away? How many times has she gone back? You're the go-to when she needs something other than dick. When that's all this guy's willing to contribute to a relationship, and she complains about how crappy he is in a relationship, how all he wants to do is play video games and have sex, All he wants to do is get drunk, play video games, and have sex. And then all of us get treated like we chose for you to date that asshole. No, we didn't. When you make a bad decision, in the morning you just pretend you can't remember it. It must have been rape because you can't remember it, but you always, every single time, you remember being rejected, don't you? Every time, no matter how drunk you were. Lana Engeline absolutely remembers being rejected by me, and she was not nice about it. Jamie Curtis absolutely knows what it's like to be rejected by me, and she was not nice about it. Crystal Beauchamp absolutely knows what it's like to be rejected by me, and she was not nice about it. Meanwhile, I wasn't trying to reject them as human beings. I was rejecting having sex with a drunk woman. Not gonna happen. If I'm not good enough for you when you're sober, you can't have me when you're drunk. And these women, most of them, proceeded to go out and get drunk and have sex with anybody who would hit it when they dropped their panties. You tell all your girlfriends you're gonna go out tonight, you're gonna get all dolled up, and you're gonna get laid. And then you got a guy that you're pretending like you're interested in on the side, saying, oh, we're just going out dancing. We're just going to hang out. No, you're playing. And your girly friends help you do it and help you get away with it. Us girls got to stick together, right? And then you complain about these man laws. You want to post up stuff in your cubicles. Your coworkers are men and women, and you got these things all over your cubicles that say so many men, so little aspirin. If it said so many women, so little aspirin, there'd be a lawsuit for sure. If the things that Natalie Bollinger and her friends and family did, if they did it to a woman, you'd care. When you want to complain about something that literally just happened, you just had a man at a New Year's Eve party grab your butt, and it was very uncomfortable, and you didn't like it. Yes, I feel bad for you. And I don't want that to happen to you again. And I'm willing to help you turn it in. Ventus wasn't willing to try that. Meanwhile, he's talking to a guy who's had grown men shove their cock up his ass. It doesn't feel good to be raped. Not even if you're a boy. When you're 7 years old and somebody does that to you and you're a boy, it's not the same thing. Man, you need to concern yourselves with yourselves. You need to stop worrying about everyone else. And that's not what people mean when they say that, is it? They mean you need to stop worrying about everybody except for them. They still want you there. They still want your help. Rand Ingersoll told me not to be nice to people, not to be good to people, and stop helping people, because it fucks me every time. This is why she was asking for my help yet again, and fucked me over again. Because they're allowed. They're allowed to do it to disabled people. They're allowed to do it to the mentally ill. They're allowed to do it to the homeless. There's a man here, he's got a wife up in Washington State, and she keeps on gonna come down here on an airplane or gonna come down here on a bus. She always needs money for her phone. He bought her 3 phone cards in 1 week, and here's the thing. Nordstrom Rack is not a phone card. So we got this homeless guy out here, and he eats up most of the time on that corner panhandling. Sometimes he makes 150 a day. He complains if he doesn't make 50 a day. But he's sending her sometimes 3 phone cards a week, all to different places, all clothing stores. This is a homeless guy, and he's old, and she looks like she's about 15 or 16. He claims she's 31. He's showing me pictures of her and saying, "This is my wife. This is my wife. She's going to come down here and see me. She's going to come down here and see me." He's kind of an adult, but he's kind of a 5-year-old. He's got adult wants. He's also got mental issues. He wants to go kill some dude in Canada who's some apparently multi-billionaire who's supposed to be his father and a bunch of other stuff like that. But here's the thing about his girlfriend or wife. She's taking him for all he's worth. He's out here living homeless and sending her hundreds of dollars a week. And then he's sending her money for her makeup business. Obviously, he's an at-risk adult. Obviously, he's getting played, and obviously nobody's going to do anything about it. I can't go in alone. I'll get blown off. You get to hear, no matter how I try to turn it in, I try to turn it in how I'm told, and then they tell me that's not the right way to do it. I have to do it in another way that I've been told is wrong already after being told it was the right way before I started trying it. There's also the fact that I looked up the legal routes before being jumped through all the hoops. But if I try to explain to them that I already know the legal routes, they just want to argue and then play victim. You're not being exposed for pretending to be my friend, only in part. Really, what I'm exposing is your sexism and your racism. I'm showing your excuses. I'm showing that I did try to get help. I'm showing that your excuses are not the same excuses that the cops made. The cops said I didn't try to get help. No, you just didn't help because you're sexist. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind. Not even if they're female, not even if they're male, not if they're black, not if they're white, not if they're atheist, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. No victim left behind. Not if they're a child, not if they're an adult, not if they're in the military, not if they're on the streets. No victim left behind.